Ousen is not a general that's left wanting when it comes to loyalty. His entire army respects him. His entire army would die for him. From the humble foot soldier all the way to his generals, these men would follow him into death without hesitation. Heck, Ouhon and Denrimi showed us just that. Ouhon showed that Ousen does inspire. Denrimi showed that Ousen does comfort. Soho showed that Ousen does care, at least for his loyal comrades, but not his son. Not a single word of praise or acknowledgement. Instead of inspiration, it's expectation. Instead of comfort, it's pressure. Instead of care, it's distance. And now the moment is upon us. All that pressure from Ousen has created the perfect general that he needs much more than he realizes. Ouhon. With the army of Northern Zhao entering the battlefield, this isn't simply another move on the chessboard. It's a move where strategy alone isn't enough to counter it. Despite Ouhon having 20,000 troops prepared in advance, having to hold off 3 times their numbers means a slugfest is inevitable. This is the moment where Ouhon steps forward not as Ousen's son, but as the perfect general Ousen unknowingly created. As the general leading the Gyokuho, the strongest army in all of Qin and that Zhao has ever faced. The arrival of the Jian army changes everything. The pressure could not be greater. Positioning doesn't even matter anymore. There's no more to be done in that department. What matters more is weight. The weight needed to lead an army that, were they to lose, would cause Ousen's entire battlefield to collapse. And that responsibility has fallen upon Ouhon. It's no coincidence. Ousen didn't choose him for this role, but rather this is what Ouhon has been built up to do his entire life. Mobu is probably the best example of tough love when it comes to Moten, letting him do his own thing at his own pace, but still being firm when it's needed. It should be no surprise to anyone when I say that Ouhon has never had the luxury of having a loving father. We can't call it tough love because there was no love, only tough. The burden that Ouhon carries is different but just as heavy as Shin's burden. While someone like Shin carries the burden of overcoming his upbringing as a slave to achieve anything great, Ouhon carries a burden of greatness. I've made an entire video about this before. Everyone loves a good rags to riches story, but people rarely talk about the other side. Imagine the burden of being compared to the greatest general in all of China. Imagine the burden of having to become worthy of the legendary O family name. For Shin, the attitude is that it's only up from here because nothing is expected of him in the first place. For Ouhon, every battle matters that much more. Every battle carries that much more weight. Every battle feels like a drop in the bucket when it comes to proving himself. It's because Ouhon was raised knowing nothing but pressure that he can handle it when the most dire situation appears before him, that he can lead without anyone else reassuring him. It's probably also why he's such a tsundere when it comes to Shin, the encouragement king. For most of his journey, Ouhon has been chasing the ghost of acknowledgement, the right to stand as an equal to his father. Now with the Jian army before him, it's no longer about Ouhon proving himself. It's the fact that Ouhon is needed. Ousen's victory is impossible without him. At first glance, it's easy to say that Ousen is a horrible father. I mean, he is. But the one thing that can't be denied is that he's a winner. He knows how winners, or better yet, generals are made. It's not about inspiration or comfort. To a great general like Ousen, generals are forged by that expectation, by that pressure. It's not like Ousen cared about his generals out of the goodness of his heart. He treated them as such because they proved to be competent. Ouhon earned Ousen's trust because he was competent. Denrimi earned Ousen's trust because he was competent. Even when Soho went behind Ousen's back to save Shiryo, Ousen didn't bat an eye and still trusted him because he's competent. These are men that earned respect from Ousen through consistent performance and ability. So Ousen isn't necessarily treating Ouhon that badly. He just isn't treating him like a son. He's treating him like another piece on the chessboard, perhaps his best piece. After all, if Ousen was someone that genuinely did not like Ouhon, he could disown him and remove him as heir, but he hasn't. So we know that Ousen is forging Ouhon into a competent general, even if it is indirectly. This begs the question, why does he have so much belief in Shin and Moten's ability, but not Ouhon? It's probably as simple as praising Ouhon's ability could lead to unnecessary emotional attachment. As small as that risk might be. We're talking about Ousen, the same guy that only fights when he will win. He's not taking any chances. Honestly though, it looks like Ousen's method is working. If he truly planned for this all along, he's the GOAT. Even if he didn't, it still means that he forged the perfect general for his current strategy. One that is about to help him land Shibasho's head. The thing that makes Ouhon's moment really important is what it says about Ousen. He willingly created a strategy that relied on something only Ouhon could do, that only a man that has known true pressure all his life could do. There is no one else capable of defeating an army 3 times the size, or more accurately, holding the line against such numbers. First of all, Ouhon had the foresight to bolster the left wing before the Jian army even showed up. Just like Ousen, he always prepares for the worst and knows that information is everything in warfare. He made sure to do his homework. Second of all, there is not even a little bit of panic in his mind. No sweat droplets, nothing of the sort. Facing a literal avalanche of soldiers, and Ouhon could not be more calm. This pressure is probably nothing to him. Third, he doesn't need any reassurance. Kanjo might call it a miracle, but to Ouhon, it's a battle where failure is unacceptable. The battle where he will prove that he's greater than Roboku and worthy of joining the 6 great generals of Qin. In Ouhon's eyes, this is the battle where he will not only prove himself an equal to his father, to the great General Ousen, Qin's 3rd great, but it is the battle that will win the entire war. Wow, Ouhon really might just be the perfect general. Martial might, intelligence, leadership, there is nothing left to be desired. What else can Ousen describe Ouhon as than competent? He might have not consciously planned for this exact situation, but he's not stupid. Ousen for sure at least predicted that this might happen. He knows that Ouhon has become necessary, not just useful, but an absolute necessity to winning this war. As we all know already, in Kingdom, strength goes beyond skill or sheer martial might. It's all about weight, and will always be about weight. It's about the burden that one carries, and for Ouhon, it's the burden of greatness. It isn't just the lives of his soldiers that are depending on him, not just the lives of Ousen's soldiers that are depending on him, but the future of the O family, the future of the Qin army, of all of China. In this moment, Ouhon is no longer fighting to be noticed by his daddy. He is fighting because he is needed. Without him, winning this war would be impossible. Without him, morale would surely plummet at the sight of such a massive army. Without him, Ousen would be missing the heart of his strategy against Shueisha. In Kingdom, there's a lot of strong characters, a lot of smart characters, a lot of charismatic characters, but few are necessary. Necessity is when the battlefield can't survive without Ouhon. Necessity is when it's no longer just nice having Ouhon around. Necessity is when Ouhon's absence or failure would lead to a complete collapse. It is time for Ousen to realize that Ouhon has been there for his greatest victories and removed from the board during his greatest defeat. Shukai Plains, Ouhon was there and he won. Hango, Ouhon was removed and he lost. And now in this great war of Qin and Zhao, it's not a gamble whether Ouhon will perform, but rather a necessity that Ouhon is here to win. All in all, Ousen was most definitely never planning to raise a son. He might just be salty that either Ouhon isn't his son, or the fact that whether he is or not, Ouhon killed his beloved wife. But I think it goes deeper than that. Ousen by nature only knew how to raise the perfect general. The most dangerous thing for him, especially on the battlefield, would be to have an emotional attachment that an enemy could use against him. Personally, that's what I think Ousen thinks Roboku's weakness is, Kaine. And even more so, now that Roboku and Kaine are married. If Ousen can't have a wife, no one can. It's just funny that the way Ousen treated his son created someone that his battlefield can't win without. It's hilarious that he now has to rely alone on a monster of his own making. Whether he admits it or not, Ousen needs Ouhon much more than he realizes. If you made it to the end, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think of Ousen and Ouhon's relationship in the comment section below. Also, it would mean a lot to me if you guys have a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe for more Kingdom videos like this.